Day, what a test match, first of all, a day to revel and marvel in test cricket, Phil, whatever side of the fence you are on when it comes to supporting India or England.
It was an amazing day. I mean, just amazing. You know, I turned up there this morning thinking that we were looking good. You know, we were looking good. We were a wicket away from, you know, getting into that Indian tail, which is, I know, Jasprit Bumrah, you know, averaging, I think even I average more than Jasprit Bumrah. I think I average twice as much as him, you know, and you know, we got Rishabh Pant out early on and things were looking good. I don't actually think I've seen a bigger turnaround in Test match cricket in the space of a couple of sessions. It was an amazing day. It was an enthralling day. There was a great crowd for a fifth day at Lord's, and they enjoyed every single minute of it, as did I. But, you know, I've just got myself back home, and I'm trying to sort of, you know, think about the day and what have you. And it was just, you know, it was just sensational cricket. It was brilliant. Every single ball had something on it. It was wonderful to see, but, you know, a disappointing day for England. I think Joe Root, I heard the interview after with him, was very honest about things. He said he got a few things wrong and what have you, but we can't keep getting rolled over in 50 overs. It's as simple as that.
We'll play the Joe Root interview very shortly, but you know, Paul, you've been in this game a long time, and the psychology of sport always fascinates me. The mental side of sport always fascinates me, whatever the sport, and that whole day today was all down to mentality and psychology. Well, I mean, there was great skill as well, but the whole swing felt like it was a mental swing.
100% agree. And in the end, it came down to, you know, the Indians actually knowing how to win, expecting to win. I think that was the biggest thing that you saw out of today. You know, England went into it, like Tuff has just said, I expect England to win. I thought England were going to turn up, win the game. After an hour, I still thought England were going to win the game. And then the longer the day went, the more the Indians believed. And the Indians were the only team who were going to win that game in the end. And it came down to just sheer belief that they expected to win the game.
Basically, what happened...
Sorry, can I just say something here, though? How many times have we seen tail-enders come in? We got the vital Rishabh Pant, didn't we? You know, and everything was right, great, okay. So what we do, you know, the tactics have to be brought into question here.
Well, I tell you what, Phil. Should we hear from Joe Root? Joe Root?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the tactics of that hour between 11:30 and 12:30, where the wheels just came off spectacularly. Bumrah and Shami put on 89 for the ninth wicket. It took India to 298 for 8 when they declared. So before we get to that tactical side of things with both Phil and Paul, let's hear from Joe Root.
Yeah, it was a disappointing day. I think to get Rishabh early as we did, I thought it was exceptional. First hour of play, we were brilliant again, and felt like we were in a really strong position to go on and win this Test match. And as I just mentioned there, I think tactically I got a few things wrong, and you know, a lot falls on my shoulders in that respect, because the game could have looked very different at lunchtime if I'd managed things slightly differently. So no, I'll learn from that experience and make sure that if in similar scenario later on in this series we deal with it better.
Well, that's very honest of you. What particularly? I mean, the sort of the early field settings to those two.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be quite difficult because they score in quite unusual areas. Now you're trying to manage containing the game and holding the rate with being, you know, finding ways of taking wickets, and probably got that slightly wrong.
Okay. Your innings, however, again, I mean, it's looking in such great form yourself. That's no great consolation now, I guess. But you know, you're batting so well. Yeah,
I feel in good touch. I feel like I'm playing well. I feel like I've got a good understanding of how I want to score my runs. And you know, you just got to go in every opportunity you got there to bat. You've got to have that mindset. You've earned nothing, but when you face up to that first ball, then you know you've got to try and get as many as you can for your team.
It's pretty spiky out there, Joe. A bit of verbal jousting going on, more than perhaps you might normally see. What was going on there?
I mean, it's hard to... much to do about nothing, if you ask me personally. It's Test cricket. It's Test cricket. You expect passion out there on the field. That's probably over dramatised slightly at times. It's part and parcel of what you do when you play, and hopefully it never gets out of hand, and we can make sure that cricket's the focus and the talking point, really.
Yeah, and you're going to make sure that hopefully things might calm down a bit for the next one.
We'll see. It's something that it shouldn't be, what people focus on. It should be on the actual cricket itself.
Right. So last one on the cricket then. You've got a few days now to think about things, changes and so on. Is all that going to be going into the mix?
We've got time. Take a lot of good positive things that's happened throughout especially the first 4 days, and make sure that we're ready to play what is still a lot of cricket left in this series. Like I said, we've found ourselves in this scenario before and come out and won the series. Certainly be the way we approach the rest of this one.
They're a good side.
They are a good side, yeah. There's a reason why they got to the Test Championship final, and they've got some fantastic players. But as I say, we found ourselves at a point where we should have gone on and won this game. So it's not that we can't, compete with them. We've shown that we can, and we need to remember that and just do that for longer.
So that was Joe Root talking to Jonathan Agnew. Right, Phil, back to your question.
Yeah. Well, no, sorry, I've just been a little bit silly here, but if Joe Root goes up to Headingley's the next Test match, isn't it? And he's going to toss the coin and win the toss, and the bloke on the announcement will go, England have won the toss and Joe Root has decided to have a bat. Just Joe Root. Come on. I mean, it was just, if you can't get any runs, techniques and everything, pressure and everything, we all know this comes into it. And listen, they had a mare that first innings, that first session, it was chaos. It was carnage out there. But, these things kind of sometimes happen and what have you. But, you put your technique and you put your ability to score runs under scrutiny in the first innings. And if you can't do it in the first innings, when the pressure comes on in the second innings, how are you expected to then do it? And that's what's happening to England. We can go on about bowling at the top of off stump and why did we have all these fielders out the way and everything, but at the end of the day it happened, and then you say to your batsman and the team, right, okay, get us out this hole, and England just keep failing at it. It's as simple as that. I have never walked out to bat, which I was thinking about, with someone bowling at 94 miles an hour. Now, we're just going back to the first session where the wheels started to come off. I've never gone out of bat and faced someone bowling 94 miles an hour and looked behind me and not seen any slips.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were everywhere. They had more people on the boundary to Bumrah and Shami than they did to Pant. I mean, it was just, and then it just unravelled from there. Farbs, help me out here.
Look, really interestingly, I mean, well, they certainly always had plenty of slips when you went into that, didn't they? I mean, that was your scoring area, wasn't it?
I averaged more than Bumrah.
You certainly did, but third man was your area. You mastered that. You mastered that area. But look, I actually think that there's a lot more in what Rooty was saying there about the team. I think it shows, not only is he scoring the vast majority of the runs and taking that on his shoulders, he's also taking
it's about 70%, Farbs. I think it's about 70% of the runs.
I think in this year it's the highest ever. It's gone past Bradman's stat. I mean, it's an extraordinary stat. But I think the other thing that's really important here, and it's easy to just gloss over this, is he's actually taking the pressure off his bowlers as well. Because there's enough in those bowlers there to say, hang on a minute, the ball's still nipping around here. We've got a new ball that's not that old. We should be looking to hit the top of our stump. Let's get our slips in it. And I think